As the seasons transition and habitats and animals respond to the change in weather and the climate, vernal pools, they begin to emerge and they come to life. It's a perfect way to spend time with your kids. Joining us now is Sienna Wildfield. She's from hilltownfamilies.org, and you're going to tell us more about vernal pools. First, what exactly are they?
Well, vernal pools are bodies of water that appear in the lowland areas and forests, and they're typically something that's temporary. Sometimes they can be all season long or all year long, but they're often something that just appears in the springtime due to melting snow and the water table rising. And they're essential habitats that are used by native species as part of their life cycle and for reproducing.
And now this is a great year because we certainly will have a lot of melting snow, so there will be a lot of vernal pools around the area.
Absolutely.
Now these are a wonderful way to explore the environment, get out with your kids, and they're a great catalyst for learning. Explain how these can really be used to learn a lot about the environment.
Well, some of the specific things about vernal pools is they don't have predatory fish, so different types of native species like our salamanders and frogs and fairy shrimp, they can actually use these as places where they can reproduce, and they're great for studying and looking closely out with your families and with your communities to learn about the life cycles of different amphibians, different insects, to learn about the ecology that's surrounding where you live and in our forests, and to understand the importance that it has to these species and their survivals.
Right, so it's a great way to learn about the life cycle, and it's safe. You're not going to a huge body of water to learn. They're safe, and you can get really up close to learn about this.
You do have to be careful because it is a very fragile environment, so you can't just go tromping into it and ruin the environment for them, but it is a safe place to go with children. You don't have to worry about them being in water that's too deep.
Exactly. So there are various ways that you can engage and go out in the community. Now, one is to go out and actually see them through nature-based.
Yeah, so there's three different ways that you can basically use vernal pools to engage with as a way of supporting interest in education, and one of them is through nature-based learning. And so there's different nature centers and conservation organizations in the springtime that offer events and have interpreters or naturalists that lead groups to go around vernal pools to learn about, to help you identify the species, the differences between the different types of frog eggs and amphibian eggs, and how you can protect them at the same time.
Then there's service-based, which is a way to go out and actually volunteer your time and do community service while actually learning.
That's right. Like the salamanders, specifically, there's salamander crossings. They have to, when they're coming out of their environment and going down into the vernal pools to reproduce, many times they have to cross roads, and that can be very dangerous, and it's a way that we often lose that part of our population. So some families participate in something called a salamander crossing. So it's a way they can volunteer their times to help the salamanders cross. It's in the evening hours because that's when they typically do it. And you have to really watch the weather, so you have to know about our weather patterns. But it's a way that you can volunteer your time to help protect the species.
That's really interesting. I never knew about that. Very cool. There's also, you can be a citizen scientist, and that's ways that you can collect data to actually assist scientists.
That's right. So the Pioneer Valley Citizen Scientists, which is a collaboration between Hampshire College and the Hitchcock Center, they are looking for data to be gathered basically by counting salamanders and counting egg masses. And it's a way that as a family you can participate in the scientific process, and you can gather data and go out and learn about vernal pools and these native species.
Very cool, Sienna. Nice to learn about this, and something that we don't necessarily hear about all the time, and ways to engage with our children. Thanks for joining us today. hilltownfamilies.org is your website, and people can go there to learn more.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
My
nice
pleasure.
to have you. Still to come.